Shalom and welcome back to Mini Israel with Aline. Today we will have the unique opportunity to excavate with our own hands the archaeological remains of the Temple Mount. The same Temple Mount whose archaeology was attacked with more than 500,000 objects connected to Mount Moriah, the temple in Jerusalem, and even to Jesus. They were destroyed and discarded. Today we are going to learn about this terrible story of the destruction of biblical archaeology, of the attempt to erase the history of the people of Israel. But we are also going to take part in the rescue project and help rediscover the history of Jerusalem. So, if you are ready, let's get started. From here, we can clearly see the area of the Temple Mount, and the history of this place began more than 3,500 years ago, when Abraham takes his beloved son Isaac and brings him to Mount Moriah to almost sacrifice him. Centuries later, King David buys this land, and his son King Solomon builds the first temple in Jerusalem here, which was destroyed by the Babylonians and then rebuilt. And the second temple in Jerusalem is the temple that Jesus knew, where he made his triumphant entry and where he came to teach every day. Also where he healed the blind and the lame, and on the pinnacle Jesus was tempted by Satan. The temple was destroyed by the Romans in the year 70 AD. Without a doubt, this is one of the most important sites in biblical archaeology. And it's every archaeologist's and Bible lover's dream to be able to excavate at this site. However, this is completely forbidden because the UACF, which is the Jordanian Muslim organization that controls the Temple Mount today, does not allow any excavations to be carried out. And not only that, they even restrict the access of Jews and Christians to the site. So, how is it possible that I have here with me soil from the Temple Mount, that I am touching more than 3,000 years of history? What we're going to see today is one of the most important archaeological missions in all of the Holy Land. A story of destruction and the rescue of Temple Mount archaeology. And all of this began in 1999. And when the Muslim Waqf carried out illegal construction on the Temple Mount, they excavated the underground areas of the Temple Mount to build a mosque down there. And in this process, they removed more than 400 truckloads, totaling 9,000 tons of soil. This earth from the Temple Mount, which was mixed with archaeological remains, was dumped into the Kidron Valley. The then archaeology student Zaki Dvira discovered what was happening. And together with Gabriel Barkay, one of Israel's greatest archaeologists, they managed to rescue it and bring it here to Emek Tzurim. And that's how the Sifting project was created here. The Sifting project, everything we sift, everything we see here around us, this soil mixed with archaeological material that came out from inside the Temple Mount. And the first thing that catches your attention when you get here is that it's gray. It's not the color of Jerusalem's soil. Look here. Come right over here with me. See how gray it is. And why is it this color? Literally because this soil is mixed with ash. With the destruction, with the burning of the first and second temples of Jerusalem. This was also one of the ways archaeologists were able to separate what was remains of the Temple of Jerusalem from what was simply the rest of the soil from the Kidron Valley, because it literally has a different color. And since 2004, they have been working here on excavations. They have already found more than 500,000 objects, archaeological finds. A good part of them are directly connected to the temple, and pieces of the Temple of Jerusalem itself. And we will also dig here today. And what will we find? It really is a big mystery. And we have to be aware of what is around us here. We have something unique in history here. The only time earth and archaeological remains were removed from inside the Temple Mount was precisely in the 90s. And it was done deliberately to destroy and erase the history of the place. And that's why what we see here is the only access we have to the interior of the Temple Mount and its archaeology. And every time I come here, that I can take part in the project. To reconnect with history and archaeology, it's something truly indescribable, thrilling to be able to be here. And this also reminds us of Psalm 102. Because your servants even love the stones of Zion and have compassion on its dust. And now we're going to get our hands dirty. And for that, we need to put on our mask and our gloves. You'll understand why in a moment. I hope you can hear me well even with the mask on. But we need this to protect ourselves. Because now comes the hard part of our work. And now we're going to grab a hoe and the bucket. We start here at the base. And now we have to fill the bucket with all this soil. And now we lift the bucket and we're going to take it to the next station. Come with me. Imagine learning a new language just by binge watching your favorite series. As someone working with tourists every day in Israel, learning Hebrew was important to me. But the apps I tried felt boring or ineffective. It felt like I was learning textbook Hebrew, not the Hebrew real Israelis actually speak. Then I discovered Lingopie, the Netflix of language learning. After work, I usually watch TV, so being able to learn a new language while doing something I already enjoy feels incredibly easy and natural. So now I just watch Israeli TV series and learn at the same time. I can tap on any word I don't know and instantly get a translation with context. Plus, it's got tools built in like flashcards, so you can practice later to better learn the words, not just by reading them the first time, but also by taking notes and even fun quizzes. With Lingopie's double subtitle feature, I've started to pick up more words like manishma. Now I can put sentences together, tell a joke in Hebrew, and make Israelis look at me in surprise and ask, "Wait, are you Israeli?" Lingopie offers 13 plus languages like Spanish, French, Italian, Chinese, and more. If you also want to learn a language in a way that feels real and not boring, try Lingopie today. And since you are coming through my channel, you can get 55% off yearly plan and 7 days free trial. Just scan the QR code or click the link below to start learning today. And let me know in the comments how it's going for you. Israel teaches me every day that history lives through language, and now I can finally speak it. Say shalom to Melissa. She's a volunteer here with the project, and she's going to help us now with the first sifting. Are you ready? I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's go! And now, so first of all, let's thank Melissa. Toda rabba. Thank you very much for joining us. And now, everyone, we're going to move on to our next steps because we have a lot to do here. And what we just did was separate the stones and the archaeological remains from the soil of the Temple Mount. We can see the soil right here on this side. Archaeology is also hard work. What we're going to get is our bucket that we got there already separated from the soil, and now we're going to divide it into smaller buckets. Now we have 5 buckets, which means we're going to have 5 rounds of excavations. And honestly, I'm even excited to see what we're going to find. Now we're going to fill it with water. Now let's put it here on the side. And now it's time to really get our hands dirty and start. Let's go. And now we're going to the second sifting. Let's pour all of this in here. We need to wash the bucket to remove all the excess. It's not very clean work. And now we're going to wash all our finds. Wow, I can already see a lot of things here. And now we start cataloging. What does that mean? We have a little box with 6 compartments, and we're going to put ceramics in the first compartment. And here, look, right away I can already see ancient ceramics. Then we also have a compartment for ancient glass, metals. And in metals, there's also the category that I like the most, which is ancient coins. There's a category for bones, and a lot of bones, a huge amount of bones. They were found. No human bones were found, only animal bones. And that's why they might be the bones from the sacrifices on the Temple Mount. We also have a divider for mosaic stones and the last one for special stones. And now together, everyone, we can start searching. Come here with me. Look, do you see this here? Look, this here is a shell. The whole point is that in Jerusalem, and let alone on the Temple Mount, there is no sea. And that's why all the shells were brought by people from distant places. Sometimes they were used as jewelry, as decoration. It is mixed together with cement and sometimes used as decoration in the plaster. So along with the bones, we put our shells here. And let's keep looking. Here we can see more pottery. Here on the other side, there's more pottery too. More pottery, more pottery. And you can see that this one in particular is burned on the outside. So it could be that it was placed on the fire. You really have to pay close attention so we don't miss anything here. And look at this stone. Do you see how it's really square? There's a chance this stone could be a mosaic tile. And if I can give my opinion, there's a chance it's a mosaic tile, probably from the Byzantine period. But the archaeologists will be able to confirm that for us. Wow, wow. This here, everyone, is our first metal object of the day. This is a small nail. So at first glance, it's hard to date it, but it's really amazing. Let's put it here and let's see what else we can find. This is a stone. Wow. You can see that this looks like a stone at first glance, but if you look closely, it isn't. This is plaster. But what makes it so special is the type of inclusions it has inside. This is plaster. Characteristic of the Roman period, precisely from the time of the end of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. So, from the time of Jesus, guys, this is a small piece of plaster that belonged to some building, probably on the Temple Mount. We don't know if it's from the temple up there, but from the Temple Mount, without a doubt, in the time of Jesus. Really amazing. And we put it in our category of special stones. I'm going to take another look to see what I find here, and then we'll move on to our next bucket. I kept looking and I found a few more things that I want to show you. These here that we're seeing are animal bones. So there are these 2 long bones and also this bone, which for some reason is burned. This colored stone which is so tiny but so beautiful it's part of a colored mosaic. Probably from the Islamic period, just like this is a decorated piece of pottery from the Islamic period. But really, the most beautiful and touching ones, in my opinion, are these pieces of glass. Look at the work here. How thin and delicate it was. This remained, everyone, under the ground for centuries and centuries and centuries, and we are the first to touch this after so long. Let's now put it in its corresponding categories. And then we can move on to our next bucket, because I still have hope that we will find something extra special today. Now let's take out our findings and take all of this here, which has already been separated out as non-archaeological material, and discard it. So come with me. Let's go over there. Let's go now to our second bucket. Are you ready? Let's start. Wow, 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 wow. We haven't even washed it yet, and you can already see something here. Come on, let's do the process the right way. But I'm emotional, but let's go. Let's do everything the way we're supposed to. Look at this. We're seeing here styling. And it probably, by the type of decoration and material, it probably dates back to the time of the Ottoman Empire. But let me put it away in here already, clearly, with the special stones. And now let's keep washing. Well, we washed the objects and I got a shower too, but it's been part of the process. Let's continue now by finding what we have here. The first thing here, look everyone, a piece of glass. And I can't tell you what period it's from, but let's keep it here with the others. This one, if I'm not mistaken, guys, this is marble. And marble is a fantastic find because part of the Second Temple of Jerusalem from the time of Jesus, which was built by King Herod the Great, was made of marble. So this marble could be from the time of Jesus. It could also be from the Crusader period, about 900 years ago. But let's keep it here together with the special stones. The ceramics in their place, glass, and keep searching. More ceramics, more ceramics, more ceramics. Before we start our last bucket, I want to show you some of the findings from this project. One of the most spectacular findings, which is exactly what's right here in front of me. Not all the findings are small, guys. Look at the size of this. This was a column capital. So imagine that it was turned over and on top of the column, not at the bottom, but at the top. This column capital dates to the Second Temple in Jerusalem from the time of Jesus. And more specifically, expert archaeologists believe that it was located in Solomon's portico, which is a specific part of the Jerusalem temple in the temple courtyard, and one of the places that Jesus used to visit. For example, in the book of John chapter 10, it says that as Jesus was passing through Solomon's colonnade, so there's a good chance that this very column witnessed Jesus just a few meters away from it. Really, this is what this project does. They are now bringing archaeology back, and here we can literally touch objects that are 2,000 years old and sometimes even 3,000 years old. Let's move on to our next bucket. This one has just a little bit, but let's go. Huh? Look here. A big piece of pottery. Wow. I'm going to call the archaeologist to confirm this for me. But you can see that there seem to be some lines here. When it dries, we'll be able to see it clearly. But if I'm right, if this is what I think it is, guys, if we see lines once it dries, this here is a piece of pottery from the time of the first temple of Jerusalem. We're saying that this piece of pottery is at least 2,600 years old. We can see that it was the edge of a jar or a pot or a utensil. And do you see it here? Let's wait a little longer. We are talking about a utensil that's at least 2,600 years old and at most around 3,000 years old. But it's not just about the age. This utensil was probably used in the area of the Temple of Jerusalem. Maybe by a pilgrim who came to this land in those days? In ancient times. Come really close now. Do you see the lines appearing? Can you see what look like red lines? This here is a clear characteristic of a vessel from the time of the first temple. Yeah, it's really amazing. The vessel, folks, was made of red clay to begin with. But what they liked to do at the time of the first temple was to add an even more reddish color on top. And while the vessel was spinning during its formation, they would take, for example, something thin and run it around it. And the paint would stick more in some spots. So we can see that clearly. We are touching an object that dates back to the time of the first temple of Jerusalem. Maybe to one of the priests, to the pilgrims, to the builders who helped build or maintain the place. This here is a piece of history. This has been around for 2,600 years. Inside the Temple Mount complex. This tragedy that happened in 1999, which was the illegal removal of 9,000 tons, changed the history of biblical archaeology. Because we should not be finding this here where we are in Emek Tzurim. We should be able to excavate inside the Temple Mount and find the objects in situ in their original location. Unfortunately, we know that this was not possible, and we also know that it will never be possible with the current political situation because the UACF does not allow it. Even if it's in a slightly different way, what we're doing is something wonderful. We are coming here to rediscover biblical history. What so many people try to erase. How many people in the world today deny the connection of the people of Israel with their land? They say that Israel was created in 1948, but that's not true. We can see the literal connection right here in this soil. And here we can see more pieces of pottery and more archaeological finds. But it's truly indescribable to be part of this. I'm going to keep going. There are still several buckets and several parts of my excavation left for today. But I hope you enjoyed being a part of all this, even if just a little.